talk about social comparison and how it can do horrors to you. Now, obviously, it may seem like common sense. However, there's a lot of science backing it up and deeper implications to it that most people don't know about. So, what you want to do is remove yourself from situations and environments where you are unconsciously or consciously comparing yourself to other people who are on average better or scarily enough much better than you. So one instance of this, if you're an adult, is choosing to buy a home in a neighborhood where everyone else has a more expensive home than you, or are, on an income level higher than you, and God forbid a lot higher than you. And another is choosing not to hang too much around people who are very materialistic, and they're showing off all their materialistic things to you, or they're very focused on that and they're showing this off to you, especially if you can't afford that yourself, or you are constantly poor compared to them. And Warren Buffett is a great example of practicing this very well. He lives in a neighborhood where the average cost of a home is about $30,000. He bought his home for that amount about 40 years ago, and he was fairly rich then, maybe a couple million, nowhere near the 70 billion he is now. But to this day, he still lives in that modest home, and he also lives and drives in a very modest car to work every day. And he says that, I can't ask for anything more. The house is hot in the winter, cold in the summer. And he knows a lot of people who have houses 10 times or 100 times as expensive as his house. And yet they are, controlled by their possessions. Their possessions own them rather than the other way around. And it's this enormous struggle of this whole thing. And I've come across millionaires, some of which are alive today, and some of which I've met in person, they have regretted buying these mansions, and it really, brings nothing to your happiness in the long run. And the reason for that is a scientific term called hedonic adaptation. And I talk about this much more in other videos, but basically the general gist of it is that a lot of things in life we adapt to very quickly and we take for granted, even if for maybe the first 10, 20 years of our lives we didn't have that. And so there's certain things in life that will not attribute to long-term sustaining happiness. Again, I have plenty of videos that talk about that more in detail, but this video I really want to talk about social comparison and removing yourself from that. So unfortunately, modern society does a lot of things that kind of trick us or lead us in the wrong direction. And part of it's, self-induced by our genetics. Part of it is, due to modern society and capitalism. And these things are things I think should be brought to awareness. So things like, oh, you need to spend money, you need to make more money to be more happy, or you need to spend all this money and earn all this stuff, and even if you hate your job, if you're earning a lot of money, you'll still be happy. A bunch of them. And as far as social comparison goes, if you let yourself sit in a place or an environment over time, whether you like it or not, whether you think you are an exception to the rule, you will start comparing yourself. You will start becoming more and more unhappy because of the influences of the people around you, especially if they are, programmed. And I've seen a lot of college students, a lot of high school kids, that's just how they're programmed. Like they just naturally grow up into this world and they don't know any better. They're just on Instagram all day. They're just looking at celebrity gossip all day and they don't know any better. So if you're constantly surrounding yourself with these types of people, with sometimes small-minded people, that will influence your world, and their thinking and their beliefs and where they focus their time will affect you, and you will start thinking like them. And more so than that, you can become very depressed, unhappy, and start comparing yourself to them, when in the long run it's like that's the stupidest thing ever. And so there's plenty of people who have understood this on some level, or just out of luck happen to fall on this, and they have chosen to take themselves away from the city and live in neighborhoods or states or countries or areas where the average income level of their peers, their neighborhood, is lower than them or on the same level as them. So it removes that social stigma, all that crap that goes with it, and ultimately I think it'll help you much more in the long run. That's all I gotta say. As always, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I will see you in my next video. Peace.